Hello, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed the four-part docuseries I put together. The Ghosts of Carmel Maine, a documentary on truth, lies, and everything in between. The documentary took me 4 years to put together. And during that time, I was doing a lot of research, talking to people, and doing interviews, learning and knowing when to film. Part of the art of putting together a documentary is knowing when to film and what to film. As I said, I've done a lot of research during that time, and this video that I'm going to share is now my video. It belongs to me, and I'm sharing it with the world because things like this don't just go away. Things like this will haunt you. I'll make sure of it. Back in 2019-ish, David Cyr had been working with Kent as a partner on the Ghosts of Carmel Maine channel. And at some point, David realized that Kent was not what he seemed to be. David decided to leave Ghosts of Carmel Maine and then expose from a point of view on the inside, somebody who was behind the scenes of Ghosts of Carmel Maine, and he got to witness things firsthand. And David decided to, like I said, expose these things. And once he started doing that, Kent became, well, very antagonistic. He already was the antagonist in the story, but he took it upon himself to accuse David of wanting money. It's the same thing he did to me. That is his immediate defense. When someone speaks out against him, they just wanted to make money off of me, and they wanted to make money off of the Lamb House. Again, part of the pattern that I saw, which I referenced in episode 4. And today, I'm going to share the video that Kent put out on his private Facebook group page. He never intended for it to be on YouTube. He never intended for anybody to see this other than those who are his diehard followers and people that he knew he could manipulate. Kent put a disclaimer out at the beginning of this video, stating that it was not to be shared outside of the Facebook group page. Here's how much control you have over what the fuck I do. And for the rest of you, soak it in. You know, I shared as much as I could that mattered to the story. The kind of detestable things that Kent Burris was doing behind the scenes. And I'm bringing all that stuff now to the forefront for everybody to see. Every week, we're going to see new videos. Some of them will be damning. Others are just, interviews, full interviews from the people that I interviewed. You'll get to see them uncut and stuff like that, because I have nothing to hide. Thank you all for supporting me in this, sharing my documentary, and getting the word out there. The documentary has been entered into film festivals. So far, I've been able to take home an honorable mention and a finalist position, one at the Festival of the Unseen and the other at the Fortean Film Festival in the United Kingdom. It's been entered into the Chicago Paranormal Film Festival, as well as the Indie Film Festival, which is here in Indianapolis, coming in March. The next step for this documentary is distribution. I've got 2 distributors that are interested in what I've done, and it's only a matter of time before it ends up on all of the streaming services. Very cool where this documentary has taken me. I mean, very cool in certain aspects. Obviously, it was very disheartening in a lot of other ways. But the story needed to be told. Your bullshit catches up with you, one way or the other.
Hello, Ghosts of Carmel Maine group members. Unfortunately, I have to come out here now publicly and make some statements. And before I make these statements, I just want everybody to understand clearly, I do not like drama. I didn't start Ghosts of Carmel Maine to get involved with drama. I do everything I can to stay away from the drama. However, I've been dealing with some issues for almost 2 years now, and I was basically given an ultimatum. Either I come out publicly and claim that I'm a liar, a fraud and a fake and a con man, and admit to it and remove Ghosts of Carmel Maine. If I don't do this, somebody was going to continue a smear campaign against me and Ghosts of Carmel Maine. Now, since they gave me this ultimatum, I will publicly come out and talk about this. Now, I'm not coming out publicly to stir up the drama. I've ignored this situation long enough, and it's time that I come out publicly and talk about this. For one, no, I'm not a liar. Two, I do not fake these videos. I'm definitely not a con man, and I don't understand how these people say I'm a fraud. I don't even make money off Ghosts of Carmel Maine. Yes, there are people that set up PayPal accounts wanting to donate funds to help buy equipment, but those accounts that were set up were limited, but that doesn't make me a fraud. The YouTube channel's not monetized, and I don't even make money off the merchandise. We will get into the merchandise later so everybody understands what little money that does come in, where those funds are going. Now, as you all know, who I'm talking about is David, and I want to set the record straight right now. David did not leave Ghosts of Carmel Maine because he caught me faking evidence. I removed David from Ghosts of Carmel Maine, and I had my reasons, and I had very good reasons. But I'm not here today to assassinate David's character. That's not what this is about. This is to set the record straight once and for all. And once I set the record straight, I want to move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore, and I don't want this brought up on the group pages anymore. I'm done with it. One of the topics I want to talk about is basically, it's not important why I removed David, but I think anybody that has gone onto his public page and saw the way he's acted towards me and the way he's acted towards other people that disagree with him, they are viciously attacked. That's David's personality. That's who David is. And that's one of the main reasons why I parted ways with him. I'm not here for anybody to take sides. This is not what this is about. You know, it's not about who's right or who's wrong. What this is about is telling the truth, exactly what happened. And I did remove David. And when he states that he left Ghosts of Carmel Maine because he caught me faking, that is not accurate. David claims that I publicly came out to say things and lies against him and his family. Not once have I ever publicly came out on any social media and said anything about David or his family. The only thing I said, when people asked why David was gone and no longer with Ghosts of Carmel Maine, I said that I parted ways with him and I had good reasons, and I left it at that. Never have I came out on social media and said anything against him or his family. That's not the type of person I am. I don't get involved with drama. His public page is highly derogatory, and it's pure social media harassment. But for many, many months I haven't said a word about it. For many months I tried to ignore it. I try to let the situation just die out. Obviously it hasn't. Another thing I want to talk about is the claims made on this public page that I am dragging the names of the people in Carmel through the dirt, that I'm saying horrible things about them. And I want not only the people of Carmel to understand and know, but I want everybody else to know and understand, not once have I dragged anybody's name through the mud, through the dirt. And I've made it very clear in these videos, in these investigations, that what's said by these spirits is based on the paranormal activity. And I've also made it clear that I cannot say that this is true facts on what these spirits say against a person that was alive here in Carmel back in the day. And one of the people I'm talking about is Edmund Lamb. Now, what I find interesting, This person, David, on his public group page, has told everybody how I've been dragging Edmund Lamb's name through the mud. Let's take a look at what really is going on with that.
David has publicly announced I was dragging the name of Edmund Lamb through the dirt. My first thoughts were, you've got to be kidding me. The truth of the matter is, David sent me this message. He showed a side-by-side picture of Edmund Lamb and serial killer James Hicks. I admitted it did look strange. Sometime later, while looking at the post on the Ghosts of Carmel Maine paranormal page, I found that David posted this picture of Edmund Lamb and serial killer James Hicks publicly. He was talking about how Edmund and James must have been related somehow. They looked a lot alike. David went on talking about Edmund being a serial killer of women just like James Hicks. When I saw this post, I removed it. I told David we can't prove Edmund killed anyone. This is all based on what these spirits say. We cannot publicly come out stating these are facts. On the next video that came out on Ghosts of Carmel Maine, I felt it was necessary to explain my views about what these spirits say about Edmund Lamb.
Now, I do want to make something very clear here, and it's important that I say this. I cannot come out and say that Edmund, in fact, murdered Rachel or anybody else, unless I have the physical evidence to show that what these ghosts are saying is true. These accusations are based on paranormal related evidence. Was that Edmund Lamb that did say that he shot Rachel? Was that Edmund Lamb that admitted that he did kill Rachel? Or is there a spirit posing as Edmund Lamb to mislead me on all of this?
I have never made a public claim Edmund did in fact kill. David publicly came out as if this was a fact, and I can say the same thing about Alfred Clements. I have never publicly came out accusing Alfred Clements of being a murderer.
Another thing I want to talk about is the accusations that I'm a con man and a fraud. For some reason, on this public page, it's always brought up about money. Oh, Kent has a PayPal account. Kent's very greedy about making money off of the merchandise, and that are public statements about me being greedy about wanting to make money off of merchandise. And this is the truth about the merchandise.
Okay, so I have Lori on the phone, and Lori, you you handle the merchandise for Ghosts of Carmel Maine, is that right?
That's correct. Yes, I do.
All right, when I asked you if you can take care of the merchandise, what exactly happened? I mean, what did I tell you to do with the funds that came in from the merchandise sold?
Well, you asked me to take over the merchandise because, you know, it was too overwhelming. And, excuse me. So I did, and you told me that you weren't interested in the profits. You don't want any other profits, that I can keep it for my time. And so I took that as okay. So I set up something, and none of the profits went to you. Absolutely none. And the profits that were made, sad to say, it was like $10 or $12 a shirt or a sweatshirt. I ended up donating to the food bank.
Right.
Because, you know, people are hurting. And so I didn't even keep the profits.
Okay.
None of them went to you.
Right. And so now we're not too happy with the quality of Teespring, and you were looking for somebody else to do the merchandise. What's going on with that?
So I wrote to an online t-shirt company that I buy a lot of t-shirts from because I like their concept and I love their t-shirts. And they are animal rescue. All of their money goes to helping animals in the wild and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote to them and asked if they wanted to take over the Ghost of Carmel Maine line. because they do screen printing
Right.
right on the shirt, and they're great.
And
I told them that they could keep all of the profits,
Right.
and all of the profits could go right into their charity.
Right. And when you presented that to me about that idea, what did I say?
You thought that was a great idea, and you loved that idea.
On this public group page, there's videos on there that is basically pretty much for character assassination against myself. And I apologize to people publicly if sometimes I say things that's offensive. But let me tell you something. This video that was posted for all the public to see, I didn't post that video. I would never post anything that would be offensive to others. However, David took it upon himself to post this as a way to humiliate me, as a way to show people how offensive I am. And this is the video. But I want you to watch what really happened.
As a means to point out to the world what a foul person I am, David shows a clip on his public page for all to see how I made a comment about people who gives Ghosts of Carmel Maine thumbs down. David's intent on using this clip is obviously to humiliate me. I don't deny the fact that there are times I joke around. Maybe some people don't think this is funny, maybe some people understand, but this is not something I'd put out publicly, so not to offend others. However, David put this out publicly to show the public how offensive I am. But on his public page, David shows two separate clips. He leaves out his part in these clips. I only pointed this out to show David only wants the public to see his version of me. It's okay to smear my character, but he leaves himself out of it. David didn't realize I also had a copy of this recording, and this is the part he didn't want to show.
Oh my... And for you people that gives me thumbs down, fuck you.
And your mama. And your mama. And your mama.
Next thing I want to talk about is, obviously, there's videos put out that David claims that he has proof that I faked the paranormal evidence, and through these videos he's calling me a liar, he's calling me a fake, and I'm going to address these videos because David claims that he has proof that I'm a fake and a fraud. Well, the first one I want to address is the house shaking.
What the fuck is that? What the hell was that? John, you get this evidence, I mean, what? What the fuck is that? What the hell was that? John, you get this evidence, I mean, what? What the fuck is that? What the hell was that?
Is that?
What the hell was that?
Is that Kent?
Dad.
What?
What was that?
What was what?
The whole house started shaking.
David claims I use these clips with the house shaking even though I knew this was not paranormal related. He shows a personal message I sent him where I stated this was debunked, that I caused the house to shake due to a medical condition. I also stated I will need to view all the recordings in order to see what caused the house to shake. Further down in the message, I told David the house has shaken before, and when the house shook before, it was in fact paranormal related. David knows if I doubt something is not paranormal related, I will not use it in the video. However, after I viewed all the recordings and talked with everyone in the house, I could not debunk this, and concluded this was in fact paranormal related. The day I sent David this message, I personally had doubts about the house shaking because I did not feel or hear the house shake when it happened. Since my son, his wife, and David were adamant this happened, I did in fact question the possibility I blanked out at the time, because based on what they said, I couldn't understand why I didn't feel the house shake. After sending David that message, the next day I viewed all the recordings. Even though the upstairs camera glitched for a split second, I did not hear the house shake on the audio. My son, his wife, David, said it felt like the house shook from downstairs, maybe even from under the house. It was obvious from the downstairs camera the house did shake, and the evidence showed this did come from downstairs due to the movement and sounds from the downstairs camera. Although the upstairs camera glitched, the camera did not move, nor could you hear the house shake. But based on what my son, his wife, and David said, and based on the evidence captured on the cameras, I did conclude this was in fact paranormal related. I made this conclusion the next day after I sent David the message he used on his video to debunk the house shaking. David clearly distorted the facts about this incident in attempts to make me look like a liar and a fake. But this was not the only shaking David said happened in the house. Another incident, David said a purse on the hutch was shaking, even though David was insisting this was shaking. Once again, I concluded I may be causing it. I'm debunking it without looking at the recordings. Regardless, David is adamant the purse is shaking.
To know who actually murdered her. I'm assuming I'm just bouncing around on the floor. That's what makes me.
I don't know. You started talking about religion. That's when all the shaking started.
Really?
Yeah. And you'll see on the video, I keep staring over there because this little purse thing keeps shaking like crazy. Yeah. The whole thing keeps, it'll start rattling off. It's,
I'm assuming I'm just bouncing around on the floor. That's what makes me.
I don't know.
I'm assuming I'm just bouncing around on the floor. That's what makes me.
I don't know.
All right. I also want to mention that I do, in fact, have in my possession a copy of the messages David claims that he showed in this video about the conversation I had about my medical issues. All right. Which, first of all, let me state that coming out in public, even on a YouTube channel, discussing my medical issues, I want to say right now, is borderlines criminal, all right? It's borderlines a criminal act. And because I have spoke with an attorney over this, and because more than likely attorney's going to take the case, I cannot show you the document as far as what was mentioned in that specific conversation with David about the house shaking incident and my medical issues. However, I did send these documents to Sharon, who's the Ghosts of Carmel Maine PR rep. All right? She handles all public relations for Ghosts of Carmel Maine. I cannot show you the document, but I can have Sharon basically talk about it, but she cannot read what's said in it, but she can verify that what's in that document.
Okay, I have Sharon here, and Sharon, you are my PR person for Ghosts of Carmel, Maine.
Yes, I am.
All right, so you've been with Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, and my PR person for 1.5 years, almost 2 years now?
That's correct.
All right, and I've stayed in contact with you about the situation with the hoax of Carmel, Maine, and I keep you informed what's going on, and along with other things that we'd have to deal with. And I send you copies of records so that you have them in your file, so when situations come up, we can deal with them. Is that correct?
That is correct. I have my own file, and everything you've sent me is in that file.
Okay. Now, David showed on a video on the YouTube channel talking about my health issues, that I'm the one that caused the house shaking, and you have those records as well, right?
That is correct, in my file, yes.
Okay. Now, there's a message I sent David, and I sent you a copy of that message that David did not show. And
that is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, go ahead and explain what basically was in that message.
Well, David had put up the first part of the message was when you first said you hadn't checked into everything. So you said, I don't know. I think it's debunked. I don't know. I haven't checked it. I haven't looked at the tape yet.
Right.
That was what you said. I have not checked it yet. I don't know. And that's what you do. When you don't know, you say, hold on a minute, I don't know.
Right.
But then
And that is what David showed.
Right.
What you said. But the next day is when you sent him a message that he did not put up, is when you said, David, there is no way I could have took that house. That was not me. There is no way I could have done that. There's just no physical way that one human being can make a whole home shake. There's no way. An earthquake, but not one person. He said, after I checked it, I believe it is paranormal related.
Okay.
That's what you said to him.
Next video I want to talk about is where David claims that when I was leaving out the door, that I closed the door behind me and I claimed it was paranormal activity. Now I want you to look at this closely. Now, I feel like I do a fairly decent job of doing video forensics. And I do a lot of video forensics on these investigations, and I'm very careful to point out what's paranormal. And if I'm not sure, I won't bother with it. If I can't prove something's paranormal related, most of the time I will not show it in these videos. In fact, one girl contacted me and said that I have proof you're a liar and a fake. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. And she said, in one of your videos, you know, I can see your mouth moving and a voice, you know, a voice coming out, and that was not paranormal related. I said, okay. Which video is that and what's the timestamp? So she told me the video and she gave me the timestamp, and I looked at it. And I messaged her back. I said, I'm not sure what you're talking about. What exactly, right down to the second, what are you talking about? And she says it's at a certain time frame. You know, she gave me the exact timestamp. It shows me talking, but it also has a voice in the background talking at the same time. And I said, so what are you saying? She goes, well, your mouth was moving and you're claiming that was paranormal. I said, how many of my videos have you watched? And she goes, a couple of them. And I said, well, let me tell you something. When I point out something is paranormal related in the videos, you will know it. In that exact second time frame that you're talking about, there's no captions up on the screen. I wasn't claiming anything was paranormal related in that, which means I wasn't claiming that some voice that was talking was paranormal. And the only answer she had back to me over that was that, well, you need to tell everybody that that's how you do it. Because, you know, to me, it seems like you're faking this. I said, look, if you watched all my videos, you will know that when I claim something's paranormal related, I will caption it. And I said, that's not captioned. Another example, in old Harvey funeral home investigation, where I was sitting upstairs in the attic and my son comes down the steps and he bumps the door. People were screaming all over social media how I faked that, you know, and how you can see the person's feet under the door that pushed the door. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I went and looked at what they were talking about, and nowhere in that video did I claim a spirit pushed the door open. Nowhere. It's not even in there. That was, and I made it clear. I never said that was paranormal related. I know exactly what happened. That was my son backing into the door. I never once claimed it was paranormal related. However, I do want to point out the steps that David said I'm the one that closed the door. Because if you look at this closely, it's impossible. It's physically impossible for me to have closed that door. Watch this closely.
Shut you down because they get really upset. Watch this doorway. You can see him go in front of the candle. See right there? See him walk down? I'm going to show you again. Show you again.
When this door opened up, I was already 4 feet away from the door, as you can see here. With my back turned to the door, it would have been physically impossible for me to reach 4 feet behind me and open that door. In this video here, you can see the distance between the doorknob and the rail. By the time this door opened, my foot was already stepping past this rail, and I was getting ready to head down the steps. I put a tape measure on the floor to show the distance from where I was to the doorknob. Not possible. Also, he states that you can see me walk by the candle. I believe I was already down the steps when this happened. As you can see in this enhanced video, that was the flame movement in the candle, because you can see the shadow go the opposite direction. Where he claims I passed by the candle, I was already down the steps. There's a simple logical explanation, but David's camera does not show the explanation. The angle degree on the wall at the top of these steps prevents you from standing up straight. When I was getting ready to switch the phone from my right hand to my left, due to my size, I ducked from the wall in order to switch the phone from my right hand to my left. You don't want to do this while you're at the top of the steps. If you back into the wall the wrong way, this could knock you down these stairs. Also, I'm dominantly right-handed. I switched the phone from my right hand to my left before going down the stairs. If something went wrong while going down these stairs, my right hand is freed up in order to grab on in case my balance is lost. Anyone who's been to the Lamb House can tell you how dangerous these stairs are. In fact, in 2 of the videos, 2 women hit their heads on the wall at the top of these steps, and these 2 women were half my size. David's camera makes it look like I was reaching for the doorknob to open the door, but in reality, I was ducking from the wall to switch the camera from one hand to the other. Based on my position at the exact moment the door opened, I was proceeding around the stair rail. It would have been physically impossible to reach the doorknob from the position I was in. Once again, I was 4 feet away from the doorknob.
I understand that a lot of people will go on social media to try to debunk these investigations, and I'm okay with that. You know, if they want to use this material to try to debunk Ghosts of Carmel Maine, whatever. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem is the person's intent behind that. If they want to come out to try to publicly humiliate me and lie about what's in the video, then I will say something about it. Do not distort the facts and say you debunk something. And just because somebody says they debunk something doesn't mean it's debunked. There's another point I really need to make clear here, and that is David was never a partner with Ghosts of Carmel Maine. From the very first day and to the last day, David was only a guest. He was a guest inside my home, just like any other guest that would come on investigations with me. And I think it's important that I mention when things started changing, and that's when Ghosts of Carmel Maine made Nuke's Top 5, and after making Nuke's Top 5, the subscribers began to grow extremely fast on Ghosts of Carmel Maine. Now, David saw this, and David did see that there was potential to make some money at this. And David wanted me to monetize the YouTube channel. He wanted me to open up a Patreon account. And he had a lot of ideas on how to generate money, because the subscribers were coming in by the thousands. He saw that Ghosts of Carmel Maine was getting ready to explode. And it wasn't just Nuke Top 5, it was other entities out there talking about Ghosts of Carmel Maine. I finally had to pull David aside and said, David, look, this is the situation. Ghosts of Carmel Maine YouTube channel will never be about making money. It's just not going to happen. And to be quite honest with you viewers, that's when things started taking a turn with David. His whole concept with Ghosts of Carmel Maine was now about the money. And I had to put a stop to that. And after I did that is when things started going downhill. The situation just got out of hand and other things started happening, kind of some stuff happening behind my back, and I decided to put a stop to it. And due to a number of issues going on behind the scenes of Ghosts of Carmel Maine involving David, I decided it was time to cut ties with him. And after I cut ties with him, and it had nothing to do with David voluntarily leaving Ghosts of Carmel Maine, that is not the truth. But when I cut ties with him, that's when David became extremely upset, and that's when the attack started. And eventually he ended up coming up with Ghosts of Carmel Maine, and it's just been nothing but a smear campaign against Ghosts of Carmel Maine. I think common sense would tell you, if somebody thought this was fake, they might say, okay, well, I believe this was fake, and they move on. But not David. David has different ulterior motives. Why he wants to try to take down Ghosts of Carmel Maine. It has nothing to do with it being fake. It has everything to do that he was extremely angry because I cut him from Ghosts of Carmel Maine. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say any more about it. There was also a number of other group members on Ghosts of Carmel Maine that were pure internet trolls. And I also blocked them. And these internet trolls went on over to David's group page, and they became pretty much followers of David. You know what? Fine, whatever. I mean, you know, if they want to be internet trolls, but there's just not going to happen on the Ghosts of Carmel Maine group pages. What's extremely shocking is that these members on this group page have taken upon themselves, sent personal messages to guests who have come to this house as a means to harass them. And I don't think Kathy would mind me bringing this up. Kathy's Jimmy's mother. When I released the video, The Crossing Loved Ones Set Free, one of the women of this group that actually has it in for me too, sent Kathy a personal message telling Kathy I was a fraud and a con man. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Seriously. You have to stoop that low to send a mother a message to try to down me because you have it in for me. Seriously. I don't know how much lower some people can go. And I also like to mention that on his group page, he's now coming out saying that Rachel didn't exist, that I'm pretty much making her up, Abby didn't exist, Edmund Lamb didn't have an undertaking business. Seriously? And I do want to publicly state that there are descendants to the Mitchells that have contacted me. Rachel did exist. In fact, these descendants were so helpful that I finally solved the mystery of Evelyn, the mother to Rachel and Naomi. And I know exactly where she's buried. And this will come out later on in special documentaries. But it's just not information I'm going to disclose at this time. Another thing David mentioned on his group page, how he debunked the apparition in the haunted forest. Well, first of all, he says I took that down because he caught me faking it and that I lied. Well, the haunted forest is still up for public view. I never took that video down. He's talking about the haunted forest continues. But David said that that was a tree branch and I made it look like an apparition. Well, whatever. I mean, you know what? That is so pathetic, I'm not even going to get involved with that. That's just a matter of an opinion. And I know for a fact that that was an apparition, and I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, I've said what I had to say, and I'm going to move on. And I know some of you have been concerned, well, is all this drama going to stop Kent from continuing to do these investigations and these videos? No, not even close. In fact, there's a lot of stuff lined up for Ghosts of Carmel Maine, and I'll tell you something. One time, because of the drama, I was going to shut down Ghosts of Carmel Maine some time ago because I did not want Ghosts of Carmel Maine to become too big, because I knew once it started growing there was going to be a lot of drama. You know what made me continue doing these investigations and posting these videos? I got a message from a young lady, and she said that she was contemplating suicide. She did not believe in the afterlife. Things had happened in her family where she just became extremely depressed, and I guess there's people that died that she highly missed, and she felt like she couldn't live with herself anymore because of the depression she was going through. She said she came across Ghosts of Carmel Maine and started watching these videos. These videos showed her there was in fact an afterlife, and knowing there is an afterlife, knowing that her loved ones are okay, her depression started going away. She messaged me and told me that these videos pretty much prevented her from committing suicide, that she was seriously contemplating taking her life. And I've received numerous messages from other viewers that talk about how these investigations and what they see in these investigations gives them hope. They know there is an afterlife. Just because one or two people got their panties in a bunch and became angry and animosity towards me doesn't mean this activity is not real. And they may have an opinion that I'm a con man and a fraud, but the reason why I continue with these investigations is because I know for a fact this is real. I know there is an afterlife, and I'm here to bring hope to others that when we die, it does not end at the grave. We continue on. I'm here to study this activity. I'm here searching for answers. I'm not here to get involved with a bunch of social media drama, nor am I here to prove to anybody that the paranormal is real. I post these videos, I post these captures, and let viewers decide for themselves. I don't doctor the videos, I don't add anything to them, I don't take away. Well, I do take away some because I don't show everything that I capture, but these videos are not doctored. They're edited in such a way with enhancing the audio so you can hear these EVPs and disembodied voices more clear, but it's also being suggested that's all fake too. That, you know, these are all fake disembodied voices, EVPs, you know, that's Kent's mouth moving, he's the one that's doing it. I'm sorry, you hear my voice? You hear how deep my voice is? There is no way I can do a disembodied voice or an EVP of a female or a child. That's impossible. I mean, unless I turned around and had somebody kick me where it counts real fast, and then I start doing a recording, maybe then I could possibly do a female voice. I don't know. I'm not gonna try that, but this is real, people. I mean, I don't mean to be a smart ass about this, but you know what? Enough is enough. Enough with the drama. I'm done with it, and I'm moving on. Ghosts of Carmel Maine is moving forward. What's going on this public blog is not gonna stop me. In fact, you know what? To be honest with you, what's going on over there is not really important on my list of things to deal with. It's aggravating, yes, but it's not on my list of importance because studying this activity is more important to me. And I promise you viewers that Ghosts of Carmel Maine will continue. I have nothing more to say about this publicly. I've said what I've had to say. And I hope everybody pretty much, oh, what can I say? I mean, you know what? Look at the sources, examine it for yourself, and make your own judgment. You know, I'm not here to convince you who's right or wrong, or, you know, I'm not here to down somebody, but I do think I have a right to publicly defend myself. Enough has been said, and the social media harassment needs to come to a stop. If it doesn't, I will take legal action. Thank you for watching.